Welcome to the Pageantry PodCast.
And today's very special Pageantry Podcast guest, calling in this morning, Miss American Coed 2025, Angela Cifone. Angela, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very excited for this.
Well, we're excited to have you here today. Obviously, this will also be one of our main features in the upcoming edition of Pageantry Magazine. So if you're ready to get started, I'm ready to jump right into the Q&A.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
How does it feel to be Miss American Coed 2025?
It feels surreal. So I started doing co-ed. It was my very first pageant at 6 years old as a princess. So there's one thing I always remember. I remember going to nationals for my first year and I had a cast on. I had no idea what was going on at all. And I went back as a sweetheart and I actually got first runner up to the national title. So that was like something really exciting for me. However, I remember going home after every pageant and watching the DVD for like months. And there's this one thing that they like are known to do is like a song when you get crowned. And for my sweetheart year, the girl that got crowned was a moment like this. And there was bubbles and all of that. And so I remember I was a little girl just being like, oh my gosh, I want that moment. And I never got it. You know, I got close, which I'm very grateful for, but I've never had that moment. And so when I finally had that moment at 31 years old, a lot of years later, it feels like a dream come true. It feels very surreal and I'm very humbled and very blessed for it. So.
And speaking of moments, aside from the crowning, what was your most memorable experience at Miss American Coed this year?
Well, there's a lot. The whole experience is amazing. However, there's two things that really stick out to me. So one is that it's a home for me. So I haven't been there. I took like a couple of years off and reuniting with all of these people that I've known for so long as like a sweetheart and a princess has been the most rewarding and exciting and exhilarating experience. We just laughed the whole week and it was just so amazing and I was so happy. So that's like my joy that came out is probably the best thing that I got from that week. And then also one thing that we do as the newly crowned queens is the day after we do a photo shoot and it's like by the pool and like the trees and you meet your like sister queens. And that was something that was very, very memorable for me. And then I went to Disney after, so it was great.
You said that you began competing in pageantry when you were only 6 years old. What originally got you involved within the glamour lifestyle industry?
Well, so actually my sister used to do pageants and I didn't really know. I was a very shy little girl. So I would hide behind my parents' legs and just like really be scared to talk to anybody. And so one day, this is so funny, but one day I was in bed, like with my mom, just hanging out, watching TV. And I was so shy to ask her this. So I whispered in her ear and I said, I want to do pageants. Random, out of nowhere. My mom was like, what? And so that's how it started. I don't know why. I don't know when it happened when I was little or what clicked, but that's how I started. And it's been history ever since. I've been addicted. I love it. It's amazing. So yeah, and I'm actually grateful because it put me on the path of my dance career. So I'm very grateful for pageants. So yeah.
And your first pageant was with Miss American Coed at 6 years of age. So let's go a couple of years down the road. What prompted you to pursue the crown of Miss American Coed?
Yes. So I took some time off. My journey is a little bit crazy because I really focused on my dance career. I moved to LA and I did all the fun things like that. And something was telling me to come back because there's a sense of comfortability and there's a sense of confidence that you get as a contestant, as a queen, that you really can't find anywhere else. And something was just telling me I need to go back and I need to have this experience again. And I need to feel that light and that joy. And this is something that brings me that. So that's why I came back. And it was like, not last minute, but it was very spur of the moment because I missed the stage so much. And I just like, for me, and I feel like a lot of people that compete in pageants, being on stage is like one of the best feelings. And that is something that I'm constantly enjoying. And so I said, you know what, why not? Let's do it. I just love it. So that's what made me come back.
What makes the American Coed system special to you?
Coed is incredible. It's so special. One thing is that it feels, like I said earlier, it feels like home. It's something that even if you leave and come back, or if you're just starting, it is so welcoming. There's so much energy involved in the actual program when you get there. Even before, I was talking to our director, Michelle Landry, beforehand, and it's something that you can't deny. And so that's something that's so special. Another thing that I love about American Coed is that they really focus on the actual girl and women. For example, when you're younger, you don't need to wear makeup. You're not allowed to wear makeup. And so something for like in that sense makes me feel like they really focus on us and who we genuinely authentically are. And that's what I love about this program so much, that you don't get a lot in other programs.
Tell me what you've learned about yourself through competing in pageantry.
A lot. I've learned a lot. However, this is something I always explain to people. So for me, when I would practice interview, something I do is I write down questions, or I'll like look up questions online and I'll answer them. Like I'll write them down. Okay. And then I'll throw it out and I will rewrite that. Like I'll say a whole nother answer on a different day. So it's just something for me to get my brain going. And I'll do like random princess questions. That's, what's your favorite color? And I was thinking, I go, I don't know. And for me, I was like, well, how am I going to sell myself and represent this program if I don't know who I am like the back of my hand? And so for me, pageantry and Coed have really taught me who I am and to be okay with that and be accepting of it because other people accept it. And so that's like my biggest takeaway is how I treat myself, how I treat others, and how I look at myself and how accepting I am for myself and others as well.
You took a hiatus from pageantry to follow your dreams in New York City and LA. Tell me about some of your adventures.
Ooh, so many to talk about. So yes, I moved to New York right after high school. And then I lived in LA for 7 years. And then after that, I actually booked a job on Royal Caribbean. So I danced on a show on their ship, and it was out of China. So I walked like the Great Wall of China. I went to Australia, New Zealand, Vietnam. So that was an incredible experience. I also danced for Billie Eilish at Coachella. So that was really cool. Yeah, that was a really, really fun experience for me. It was very surreal to be on stage. She was like playing with her dogs while we were rehearsing. It was wild. So I also, my first job was Step Up 4. So I've had a lot of incredible experiences, and I owe a lot of that to pageantry. So it's really cool that they intertwine so much.
I understand you're studying broadcast journalism. Has pageantry been a segue into that?
Actually, 100%. It's one, they go hand in hand. Public speaking, pageantry has set me up for success in broadcasting. How I talk, how I present myself, how I make sure I look good for a camera or on stage. And all these things come hand in hand. But I actually started broadcasting because of pageantry. So it's funny because pageantry helped me with dance and broadcasting. And I fall in love with the stage, the adrenaline when you're public speaking, the ins and outs of it. And so pageantry helped me get to this point in broadcasting, and it definitely helps me prepare for that future goals.
Why is the glamour lifestyle industry important in today's society?
Oh, well, that's a good one. This is a good question. So, with social media and the society and what we are supposed to look like, how we're supposed to act, especially with the cancel culture situations, pageantry, one, like I kind of just said, it teaches you how to represent yourself, but also accept the things that, you aren't perfect at or that you need to work on. And I think being in this industry has really solidified what it is to be you and accept you. And it's just an incredible industry to be a part of, to really dream big and go for those goals.
Let's talk about your personal platform, beginning with Magic Thru Mail.
Yes. All right. So Magic Thru Mail is actually this little organization, I'm trying to make it an official nonprofit. However, I started this because my grandma is in a nursing home, and I would go visit And yes, they have friends there. However, it seems very, lonely. It seems that they don't have a lot of people to connect with. Some of their family is, busy with family, their family. Do you know what I mean? So when I went there and saw that they were, kind of missing this community and this sense of communication with other people, I was inspired to start Magic Thru Mail, which is becoming pen pals with people in nursing homes. And it's actually really cool because one of the first people I ever did it with, I sent her a letter and I was telling her all about my dance career and pageants and all that. And I got a letter back and she said, "Oh my gosh, I was a Rockette." And I was like, "What?" So like not only am I bringing them magic, they're bringing me magic, and I get to hear stories that you could never really think you would hear from strangers, and then they become your friends. And I think that is something that was really special and I hold very dear to my heart.
And also another thing dear to your heart is promoting or the awareness of lupus.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that is something that's very, very personal to me because my mom and my sister have lupus. It's an autoimmune disease. And I have seen, so my mom was diagnosed with it during when I was on the cruise ship working, and I came home and she didn't tell me until I got home. And I was like, "Well, why didn't you tell me?" And she's like, "I didn't want to scare you." And so I got home and it was all fine. But now within years, I have really seen how much this invisible disease affects someone. My mom, it's hard to cuddle her like when I want to hug her because it hurts. It's these little things that you don't realize are actually happening with someone in this disease. So for me, I don't feel like there's enough awareness, and it's getting more because Selena Gomez has it. All these people are like, it's coming to the forefront. And so I really want to be an advocate for people to understand what actually happens and how much it really affects not just the person, but the people around them.
Tell me more about your personal philosophy.
Yeah, so something that I live my life around is not what you do or anything like that, but it's how you make people feel. Maya Angelou said it best, and something that is why I started the Magic Thru Mail. I think there's something so big about making someone smile and making someone feel special. And I think especially with this title that it gives me the perfect platform and opportunity to do that. So I definitely want people to feel something um, when they meet me or they're hanging out with me or I'm working at a pageant or representing Miss American Coed. So that's something that's very special to me, and that's something that I always work hard and strive for every day.
How can someone learn more about the American Coed Sisterhood?
Yes. Oh, please. Let's talk about it. First, you can definitely message me on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you want. I would love to talk about it. I will always talk about it. But we also have a website, missamericancoed.com, and then also our Instagram, which our directors, it's Michelle Landry and Nicole Rocco. She's our assistant director. They are very, very great and welcoming and always are answering their emails. So definitely reach out to them. And then also we have a YouTube account which has all previous live streams. So you can also see how the pageant actually works and, what people wear and all of these things. So we have a lot of different avenues that you can check out.
Is there anything you would like to address?
Well, I would really like to make sure something I would love to say to people is to really be true to who you are. But then also something that I've learned is to not let fear stop you from anything that you want to do. I think a lot of something that I've learned growing up is that I stopped doing some things, even pageantry, for example. I was scared, I don't want to let people down and I don't want to disappoint people. And that's something that you don't want to happen because you don't want to stop living your dreams and going for these big goals because you never know proof that something big can happen.
Any shout outs or recognitions?
Oh, well, definitely my directors, of course, again, Michelle Landry and Nicole Rocco, but I would definitely shout out my mom because she's been there for me from the beginning. I take her on all of my trips with me, and she's really been my biggest support system. Like before interviews, she'll say, "Do you?" And she's instilled so many of my characteristics, and I couldn't be more grateful for her. So shout out, Mom. Love you.
And today's special guest has been Ms. American Coed 2025, Angela Cifone. Angela, thank you so much for visiting with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had an absolute blast. I love what you're doing for the pageant industry. So thank you for that and keeping everyone informed and keeping the pageant alive. So I'm very grateful. Thank you.